Yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that because it sounds stupid, but I used to have a motto that everything works out for Julian. Like, it's just like, don't worry, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, welcome,
anyway.
Jules. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no worries.
We're really looking forward to chat to you today. Why don't you start telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I guess, it's funny. Growing up, never had interest in cooking or anything. So I did fine arts, and my dad was the head of the music program at the school I went to, so I always had to hang back and wait for him. So I threw pots on, because there was a pottery wheel just around the corner from his office. So I threw pots every night, and then went, okay, I'm good at this, let's go to uni with this. So I did a Bachelor of Fine Arts in ceramics and drawing at RMIT. Finished that. I was only 19 when I graduated. I was young for my year anyway. But while I was at university, I cooked at all places Maya Marketplace restaurant. Yeah. So there was a third level restaurant at Maya, and
Maya in
the city.
The city.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's sort of like short order cook thing. They did roasts, and it wasn't wonderful, but it was sort of first time I cooked, and as silly as it sounds, food made sense to me straight away. Like it was, I got put on the roast bar, and I think for the first couple of weeks I just roasted meat and made Gravox gravy and served that. And then I was like, if I change what I rub on the chicken, I'll get different juices from the chicken, and I'll make the gravy from that. And then, by the end of my first summer there, I was like roast king. Well, at least I thought so anyway. the grey nomads thought so as well. They were happy with my roast. But and from that point, I had an interest in cooking, and I just sort of followed it. And always, I'm not trained in any way, so I worked there for 4 years. Or 3 and a bit years while I was at university, and then bluffed my way into like a sous chef position at a pub in Kensington, and then the head chef went off.
What about the art?
The art, I finished with high distinction and put it aside.
Just put it aside.
Yeah.
High achieving.
So I went traveling, competing in snowboarding, and I thought I was going to be a pro snowboarder for a bit there, and then I really hurt myself, and the kitchen came calling.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did you hurt yourself doing? And what
was it was quite a bit. It was a collarbone, AC tendon, and ankle all in one hit.
We're doing something cool.
Yeah, it was, but I flew over ski school upside down and smashed myself. But anyway, so I was the maitre d' at the restaurant. I was cooking there before I had the injury, because it was how I paid my way in the States, and then I was the maitre d', and I got to sort of be out the front and talk to guests, and I was hobbling around with a big boot on and my shoulder up, but they loved the Aussie accent, and it got me through. But and then I came home and I took over a restaurant in Kensington again, and my first year as head chef, I was only 23. We were like 14.5 in the Good Food Guide. I was pretty stoked with that. And
that's cool.
Still didn't know anything. Like I was 100% just, I'm one of those people that likes to figure shit out on my own. Like, how do you make bread? Okay, so I'm just going to delve into making bread and fuck it up, get better,
Until it works.
Until it works. And try to understand from the very base of what happened, changing little things at a time. I've got ADHD, so it's I think cooking keeps me in line. Each day you've got a deadline, you got to feed people, but your brain can go a bit crazy on what you're doing with as far as feeding people. And so I did that, and then I thought, shit, I should probably learn a little bit more before I get stuck here because I'm not learning anymore other than if out of a book. And I went and worked at the European in Spring Street. And that was sort of, I mean, hospitality in general is pretty captivating as far as, you know, you get to party a lot. You don't sleep. You work with a brigade that's does a 12-hour shift together. You go out, then you come back and start it again the next day. And the European sort of was like a huge family of, it was a crazy year of, you know, working 80 to 100 hours on, and then the whole crew going out on the last night of the week and not really sleeping, you know. And I really loved that.
Stuff.
Yeah, typical chef stuff, but also got to work with better ingredients there than I had before. So starting to understand ingredients, and I do a lot of foraging. I always have sort of I grew up on a farm. I'm going like this now, but I grew up on a farm, and when I said I didn't do any cooking, I didn't really realize my parents are a bit self-sufficient hippie, and we used to preserve stuff. So we'd pickle roadside apricots and apples and blackberries, do that mushroom season. We go pick mushrooms, and you know, so it was always had jars of stuff in our pantry
Beautiful.
that we picked ourselves from the wild. And so when I went to the European, someone came in with mushrooms. I was like, "Were you paying for mushrooms? Like, how much are you paying for those? I'll get them for you." So I started sort of clicking into different ingredients that to use in a restaurant that I hadn't really thought of before, because that was just when I was a kid. This was what we did on the farm. It wasn't what you did in fine dining or anything. And just started opening my eyes to lots of different things. I went from there to the Middle Brighton bars, where I ran upstairs. We got the hat back there, and then went overseas traveling.
So you went from the European to Brighton.
Middle Brighton
and
bars.
how long did you stay there?
I was there for 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that a head chef role or?
It was, yeah. So running the kitchen, exec chef John Lepp, who came from the European, so he ran up and downstairs, and I sort of managed with him the food upstairs, and
Was that like
back?
yeah. So it lost everything when we started. So I went at the same time as him, and we got it back. So
So what was happening to your career at that time? Because now you're going to places, you're getting hats.
Yeah. Well, I was still young and still bluffing,
excited?
I guess. You know, excited, but also I always wanted to be at the top. I couldn't sort of just go in there and if there wasn't movement, it wasn't interesting to me. So it was like, no, I want to be able to do that the best. So I'm going to say I can do it, and I might fuck it up, but I'll learn over the next couple of weeks how to hone in on that properly, and
that self-confidence.
Yeah, I just I want to do all the specials. I've got these ideas, and I'd spend my days off thinking about what we could use and how we could put something special on that I hadn't seen before.
You wanted to always be improving.
Yeah, and I still am. Like it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't sure. I've so much self-doubt, I guess, about whether I was good enough to get any further. So, my wife now, we met at my first head chef role. We decided she's younger than me. We decided we'd travel, so we went traveling for about 2 years after the Middle Brighton bars.
Nice.
And didn't cook. So we went through the States again because I visit all my family and everyone are American, and then we traveled down through Central South America, then over to Europe, and then because I was over 30, I couldn't get a visa for anything, so we ended up working in Andorra for a snow season, cooking the shittest food that I've ever touched, and I think I had $1 per person each week. It was like budget British ski packages, so I had $1 per person each night for their food.
Wow!
But it sort of cemented that what I wanted to do. I was so put off by that and so excited by other shit that I was just like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna chef. I'm
You're gonna try and be the best.
Yeah, and I came home and I took over the courthouse in North Melbourne, and I think it was already on its decline. It was already on its decline, but I took it over at a bad time where it's like I lost the hat. So I wasn't there. Georgia and I got married and we were on our honeymoon when they came and judged it. And it was my first sort of big head chef role where it was just me. I'm taking over a hatted restaurant. So there was everything to lose, but not, I was like, yeah, I'm good enough for this. I'm good enough for this. And we lost it, and it was like horrifying.
So you got in, you had a hat, but then and then you lost it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were on a honeymoon.
I was on my honeymoon when they came in, and it was like that. Georgia says that's sort of the defining moment that I've never left work again. Left it, So I'm always worried when I'm not there. Yeah.
That was was that like one of the, because it sounds like, I mean, apart from obviously when you broke everything,
yeah,
and you had to stop snowboarding, that was like a pretty substantial loss, I guess. That
Yeah.
You would have seen it as.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
I was 31.
Right.
Yeah.
How was it? How did it feel?
Well, it was like I thought I'm not what I thought I was. Fuck it. I'm not. I shouldn't keep pushing this if I can't. Because my dream from when I was 25 was I was going to open a little 20-seater tasting menu only restaurant, and I sort of had this trajectory that I needed to do to be able to do that and have success. And that wasn't necessarily how good I was, but you sort of need the name, you need the press. I hadn't worked in Michelin restaurants and stuff. Like if you see a new restaurant open, the first thing they say is the chef's from, he did a stage at Noma, and he, those kind of things. And
The
I
CV.
hadn't done any of that. So it was sort of like, okay, this is my chance to really put my stamp on who I am as a chef. And losing the hat was like, fuck, I'm not good enough for this, and this isn't going to work. So I was sort of, my wife and I, we were going down to my parents, and we started to write, let's do a 5-year plan and decide what we're going to do, because this is shit.
Is your wife connected to your chefing career at all? Or?
She
Apart
is.
from obviously being your biggest fan.
Yeah, I mean, she is. We met across the pass, and we were always going to do our restaurant together.
Yeah.
She was going to be front of house. I was going to be back of house, and that was sort of always the dream. But she's a physio, so
Yeah.
But yeah.
So just to touch on that point, I think it's really important. Like, you lost that hat, and obviously it had a massive impact on your life at that time. Do you think you overreacted to it now? Like, that you look back into it, like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's important, but it's not the end of the world.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
I thought it was the end of me cooking. I was ready to become a carpenter or something. Like it was like, if I can't achieve what I want to achieve, I don't want to be a line cook anywhere. So it was for me the end of the world. Like it's like, this is it. Like no one's going to hire me to take over a hatted thing. I'm going to struggle to open my own restaurant if I'm that guy that lost that hat. There's lots of things. Like looking back now, it was already on decline. It had 2 hats, and it had lost the hat and gone down to 1 hat, and it was 2 years into that point. And when I took over, all the chefs was like, this is fucked. Food's fucked. It's, I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but
that's all right.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, I'm gonna turn it around. It's great, and I didn't. And I think that was the most upsetting for me, because
you didn't do what you said you were going to do.
Yeah,
and that's sometimes the hardest loss.
Failure sucks, honestly. Like, I recently had a massive failure in my life. I don't even want to share it with anyone, but it sucks, man. Sometimes like you need those checks. You'll be like, fuck, things don't go my way all the time, and
I mean, it's funny you say that, because it sounds stupid, but I used to have a motto that everything works out for Julian. Like it's just like, don't worry, it's
Yeah.
going to work out.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I was like, fuck.
I think that's
can't-
why.
It kind of does.
I
in
can't.
the end.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't really preach that anymore because
Yeah.
it hasn't. Yeah, but I mean, after that, so we were driving down to my parents. We wrote a 5-year plan of like, what do we do? So if we've got to, if we can't make this happen in 5 years, then we'll change course as a partnership sort of thing. You know, as you are with your spouse. So we said, okay, we're going to move to one of the winery regions, and we're going to try to find a little place that either will hire me as a head chef that doesn't have anything, and I'll try to work up to it, or we'll find something that we can lease that's not going to put us under. Or so we had lots of different plans, and we ended up choosing the Mornington Peninsula. So it was, okay, we'll find somewhere to be hired. You've got a year and a half to get a hat. We'll buy a house. You'll work there till you've got established, and then we'll open a restaurant down there.
How old were you at that time?
I was 31.
Okay.
So, and literally, I think
So
it
you
was
just left that restaurant. You weren't thinking to
not
yourself,
instantly.
Yeah.
Not instantly. I stayed there another 6 or 7 months, but yeah, it wasn't very nice to be there afterwards, because it was like, fuck. And then so we went down to the peninsula, and we sort of drove around wineries and Paringa Estate, and I went in there and I was like, this is good wine, this is good view. This restaurant looks horrible. It's really dated and looks like a bad cafe winery restaurant.
We can make it better.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice to be able to take over something like this and turn it into something? And literally the next day in the Age, they were advertising for a head chef at Paringa Estate. So
Bang.
It's a bit of destiny.
oh, it's meant to be.
It's a bit of
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
works out for Julian
Yeah,
kind of mentality.
A little bit. So we went down, and then after an interview, I was like, nah, they're not going to change. They're not going to allow me to sort of implement my vision of how it could be better. But I didn't meet the owner. It was just the business manager that I interviewed with, and then he rang me and said, I'm happy to do whatever you want.
The owner said that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So can I have
Maybe
another?
they felt it as
Can
well.
I have an interview with you? And
Yeah.
so yeah, and then it was 6 years of being there, and we got the hat in a year and a half.
Fantastic.
Wow.
So,
How did that feel?
yeah, great. And then he opted to renovate the place properly and build a better kitchen. It was just me and an apprentice. And I remember when it was Larissa DeBecky came in to review us, it was like me and an apprentice on. That was it. Full house with like 40 covers.
I could see it, like, you know,
Yeah.
you're 31 years old. You're like really coming out of a bit of a failure, if you
Yeah.
want to call it that. You know what I mean? You're like, you have this like hunger to just, you know, you're 31. You want to be something like
Yeah.
you're like your life is getting a bit more serious.
Yeah.
You know, you
Well,
go
Billy's in
like
his
that.
31st year of
Honestly,
right now.
you just feel like I'm ready to conquer the world, and I reckon it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I reinvented myself as a chef. Like, decided that, you know, but one thing that surprised me down on the peninsula was no one was using peninsula produce. It was the highest group of hatted restaurants outside Melbourne, and they all got everything driven into them from the city every day, from the markets. And it's just, this is bizarre. So I delved into all the farmers and everything around the area, and just started driving around and picking up all my own stuff. Went back to my sort of kid roots and picked roadside fruit and mushrooms and everything. And that was what sort of drove the menu, and how I would design the menu was.
And you lived in the peninsula.
Yeah,
as well?
so we lived in Merrick's Beach, which now it's a bit busier, but when we were there, it was like no one there during the week, and then a handful of people would come on the weekends.
That's on the other side, yeah?
Yeah.
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 I know where it is, yeah.
So it was
Nice.
probably the wrong place to move from Carlton to
So
Merritt's
quiet,
Beach.
Very
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, and
At least you could focus.
and I like the beach was 150 meters away, had it to ourselves, and that's it was kind of inspiring to just be around all that, and I used my place to sort of inspire the food. And I'd say things like when I was we're going to make our own bread. I'm like, I haven't really made that much bread. Well, I have, but not sourdough. So I started a sourdough culture, and you know, and they're like,
snowball
this,
from there.
yeah, you know, it's just I like doing everything from scratch, and I don't know whether it's because I'm a tight ass and I don't like spending money, even though it wasn't my money. So the idea, why would I spend $15 on that tub of herbs where I could go pick it
up.
You know, or
And herbs grow so easily as well.
Feels better.
yeah, you know, and that sort of drove everything as far as using every part of every animal, like getting whole stuff in rather than, you know, like a lot of chefs now don't see whole animals like fish or lambs or anything like that. So that you don't have to use it all, but when you've got it, you go, okay, it's $35 a kilo for a whole beast on the bone. I've got to use every bit of it, otherwise it's a waste of money. Also a waste of good stuff to use as well.
Okay.
So my cooking really changed down there.
So you didn't have that kind of mentality before you went there?
No, my mentality before that was, I could be a Michelin star restaurant, you know, and serve pretty food that's tasty, that I can get my ingredients from France. Like I could, you know, like I'd.
So maybe maybe living where you lived and just being there on the peninsula slowed you down a lot and allowed you time to really think about the menu.
It also brought me back
and
to my childhood.
The hippie, the farm.
Yeah, and
and
understanding that just because something's in season doesn't actually make it its best. Like preserving something gives you a whole nother ingredient down the line, and you know, you can,
of course.
and suddenly you've got a pantry of, you know, different ways you work with it and different ways you preserve it, but they're completely different ingredients to work with in 6 months or a year. Yeah, and I started doing all that again, and that was.
So that was a success. 6 years in the peninsula.
Yeah, and then
you liked that, you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was hard work, and I'm the only chef that ever lasted more than 2 years with Lindsay at Paringa. So it was sort of like
or something.
Yeah, I mean he's a lovely bloke. Just probably his communication isn't that good, and the way he, like I left there after 6 years and didn't even get a card. Like it was, you know. But then I was his pride and joy that left. So it's sort of he just didn't have that good skills of communicating what he.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's don't want to pitch on anyone.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he gave me a lot, so I, you know, a lot of freedom to do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
We started looking at sites down there to do it, and then like actually we don't want to be down here. It's for one, it's two, there's no culture down on the peninsula. And we'd bought a house in Mount Martha by then, and it just felt like suburb. We didn't want to live in the suburbs. It was never an intention. But they're too quiet. It's either I would rather live in the middle of nowhere than in a suburb, even if you've got a beautiful beach or whatever. Like, you know, suburbia. Again, don't mean to sound like a bitch.
No, I agree though.
You know, and
challenging.
it was all white. I know I'm, you know, but
you want a bit of culture. You want to be inspired by different things.
Like Melbourne, you're an
artsy kind of
you are
guy.
Yeah.
You've got many different passions. An area like that probably doesn't really stimulate you in the way that you want to be, and having your own freedom of will, obviously you'd rather choose to not live there. So it's completely fair enough.
Yeah. So we moved back to the city, decided to, I was going to go work for friends and stuff until we found a site, and we were always moving to the west. I like the west, and round the corner from where we rented, they were just putting up the sign of for lease at Navi, and it was. I didn't want a restaurant in a strip. I wanted a, you had to find it a little bit.
You want a destination restaurant,
but in the city.
Yeah.
So, and it just straight away ticked all the boxes. So we moved back, and 6 months later, Navi opened.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what was the process like to open Navi? Sorry, but
What year was that?
That was in 2018.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't have a business background at all, and as I said, I'm a tight ass. So
it's good to have that as a business owner.
Yeah.
Skill, yeah.
So my brother's an architect, which was hugely helpful.
Fantastic.
And as I said, we bought a house in Mount Martha when the market was really down, and when we left, it
went up,
like seriously jumped. So we had that as a for the bank to give us money. So we don't have any backers or anything, and it was just Georgia went back to working full time as a physio just to support while I set up Navi, being daddy daycare. So I did it all with a 2.5-year-old in tow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hectic.
But it was great. But I mean, hell, there's so many hurdles that I didn't think of. I thought I had it planned out pretty well. I'm pretty good with numbers and trying to understand. I need to have this many people sit, and I know how to control the costs and stuff. What I didn't sort of think about too much was that if it completely failed for the first few months, what I would do. And knock on wood, everything works out for Julian, and we got put on the best restaurant list by Broadsheet day one, and then we were full. And we've been full every day since.
Fantastic. And what got you into that best restaurant?
They came
straight away. They came obviously, but what your menu was so fantastic at the time.
I think they just I'd been thinking about Navi since I was, in 2005. So it was 13 years in the making, basically.
What was your vision?
My vision was we were going to do tasting menu only. It was going to be small staff. It was meant to be my wife and me and one other in the kitchen. Obviously, it's a bit bigger than that. I didn't factor all that stuff in either. I decided I was going to make all my own crockery for the restaurant. Which
back to your pottery days?
Yeah. So I've done all the ceramics in the restaurant, designed it with the vision of what I wanted with my brother. So being able to say, I can't afford that. We need to find a solution but I want it to look like this, but I don't want to skimp as well, but I cut a skimp. So having him, so the space was beautiful. Not saying that myself, but and we just found different materials to work with and lots of shopping and buying secondhand. Like my pass is all this granite. I found it at it was recycled from the old fish market, and then I've got this big marble table that I found, big sheet of marble in the backyard of the same guy at Stoneworks, and he gave it to me right cheap. And little things that saved me thousands and thousands of dollars, and materials on still getting everything I wanted, but being able to pull it off.
Fun, I reckon.
Yeah. Sorry.
Doing it in a more economical way.
Yeah. And everything, I guess, rather than going, I bought that shop from that shop, and bought that, and I sort of had my mark on everything. So it was even like
makes it more sentimental. Doesn't
yeah.
It? Yeah.
I was looking for tables. I was struggling to find the furniture was really hard, and I was trying to find tables, but I didn't want to just buy a general table. I wanted a beautiful timber round tables. I had something in mind, and I couldn't find it, and I decided to go to there's a salvage wood shop in Spotswood, and I said they put these boards together you can buy, and I was like, I'll make my own tables, fuck it. And then I ran into someone who actually did woodwork, and he's like, I'd love to do it for you, and he gave me such a reasonable price that now all of our furniture is made by him. Like even when we extended in the lounge timbers him, and
Well, that's a beautiful thing.
Everything works for Julian.
Everything works out for Julian. Yeah.
Like down to the wire of shit. We don't have tables to, you know, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Meet this guy who's like, yeah, I'll build them for you.
That's fantastic. But it's so nice as well to have that ongoing business relationship with someone for something that, you know, means something to you as well.
And keeping it local and keeping it sort of knowing, it sort of keeps to my idea of, I like knowing where everything comes from and their philosophy of how they work, and, you know, the whole idea of recycled. I know it's more beautiful as well, but it's also, you know, there's lots of character behind it, but it's also, you know, recycling, which is important.
And what was the name Navi?
So it means local in Cherokee, which comes from my dad's heritage. So he's got Cherokee, very ancient. Like it was funny, the narrative changed in those first few months with Navi, as like went from a nod to his dad's heritage to, I think in the review in the Herald Sun it says, to his Cherokee father, you know, like, but it means local. I wanted a word for local, basically, and my dad's like, well, have a look at the Cherokee dictionary. They've got some interesting words that might, and then
it's beautiful.
It's pronounced.
It's such a good name.
Such a nice name.
It's pronounced Navi. I tried, but no one read it as Navi, so I gave up on it. Yeah, so it means local, which is what we are. So we're the West is very focused on community, and that's like living there. Everyone wants to support everyone. You know, it's like a little country town. Anything new that happens, everyone wants to go and help them out and get it going.
So we're talking like Yarraville, Kensington, that
areas there? Yeah. So Footscray, Kensington, Yarraville, Seddon, Kingsville.
Okay.
Yeah, which lovely, beautiful little pocket in the West. You know, people see the docks and the Westgate Bridge, and it's like, oh, that's the burbs, which is what I was trying to move from but it's not at all. It's like, as I said, 2 stops and you're on at Spencer Street Station.
And where do you source locally everything? Like?
Yeah, so every Tuesday we go down to the Mornington Peninsula and pick up from all the connections I made down there.
So you still go back to the Mornington Peninsula for all your stuff?
Yeah. So I mean, then we do a local fruit shop that gives us our, you know, bulk carrots and stuff for stocks and things like that. But all the niche things I've had relationships for almost like 12 years now with some of these places where I planted things and now I've got trees that, you know, that they're like, what do you want us to grow? And I'm like,
that's amazing.
You know, I'd like to try this and I'd try that. So we sort of, we do a little loop around, you know, if I can't go, one of the chefs will go down, like I won't go tomorrow. But yeah, so we meet all the farmers, and it really, again, that seasonability of stuff. It changes every year, and it really dictates your menu of inspiration. So one thing with Navi is it's like 14, 15 courses as you go through, and I don't like repeating myself. So once it comes off the menu, I might use concept or idea or a technique, but that dish never coming back on the menu. And you know, so it keeps it moving. So you sort of, every Tuesday you're driving around and you see some certain flowers popping up and you're like, oh, that means this is going to be ready soon, and I'll start thinking about this, and that'll work really well with. And it's, you know, that's where all the inspiration comes from.
How do you manage to go and balance between your love for cooking and also like managing the business and the numbers and all the?
Well, I mean, your personal life.
Everything. Well, the first few years, obviously, COVID was amongst that, but like as I said, me and my wife were going to do it. We had kids, obviously, so we got 2 girls, and someone has to be home. So unfortunately, so suddenly she went back to doing physio as backup plan. So she needed to keep her foot in the door just in case Navi didn't do what it needed to do, or we managed it wrong. So I literally did everything. So I did all the books, everything, maintenance, all costings and managing people and hiring. And so it was okay when the original Navi was only 20 to 25 seats, and then we took over the next door during COVID, and now we do 35 in the dining room, plus we've got a 20-seater lounge that does like a la carte snacks and everything. So we went from 5 employees to, I think we've got 16, including casuals, and suddenly it was spiraling. Like trying to keep my finger on everything is a little bit hard. So my wife's now given up physio and she's managing business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can focus on creating.
Yeah, and we can do it together.
Of
So
course.
I come home and she'd say, "Oh, what was your day like? What's going on at Navi?" And I'd try to explain, and I'd say, "Oh, this has happened. I didn't even know you were doing that." And then now it's like everything we do together. Yeah, and it's good.
Do you prefer it?
Sorry?
Do you prefer it?
I do, and I think it's helped our relationship, as well as like just being able to be involved with each other more. Because I still go to work at 8:30 in the morning, come home at midnight, but she's there during the day, so we get to talk, and she knows what I'm up to, and I know what she's up to. And we not keeping an eye on each other kind of way, but like
spending more time.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
That's many hours at work.
Yeah, it's too many.
It's a lot.
That comes back to that honeymoon thing where I don't like not being there, so I'm there for every service. And I've started to take my foot off the pedal a little bit this year, or in the last 12 months, where I'm going to Golden Plains this weekend. It's the first time ever I've been able to go with my wife. She's gone for years.
Beautiful.
I just thought, I've never been able to leave work. Just it's like,
fuck it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do it.
Yeah.
But how does that go with managing like your role as a father as well, with serious hours like that?
Yeah. So like on a Tuesday, I'll go to the peninsula and I'll come home, and I'm my daughter's football coach, but I also do drop off every morning, so I don't sleep basically. But
Sounds
but the one thing that we made as a decision when we opened Navi was we'll never open Sundays, so that we've always got at least a family day that's 100% a family day.
I like that.
And Saturday, like all the hard work is Wednesday to Friday. Saturday's hard in service, but everything's sorted by then, because we've done everything got everything on Tuesday. We're not getting deliveries in from normal suppliers and that. So we do a one service on a Saturday that pretty much runs from 2 right through to the end of the night. But Saturday mornings is like it's getting busier now that the girls are getting more mobile with outside school activities like basketball, soccer, piano.
Yeah,
getting out of hand.
But juggling it all, and my wife's a hero. Like she's
shout out.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Georgia. Yeah.
Shout out Georgia.
Like
You're the best.
Yeah, and our youngest has just gone to school this year, so we've got our Mondays just us. It's like, this is great. We can just, whether we do work or not, we're just hanging out all day Monday without a person interrupting every 5 minutes.
It's interesting because I feel like a lot of people you hear, be careful, you work with your partner or work with basically anyone, like someone that's really close to you can damage the relationship. But I've always thought that the more aligned you are with your romantic partner in terms of like everything, this time that you spend, work, the closer you get, and the stronger your bond becomes. But it can also put you into a bit of a pressure cooker too, because it depends on how you are with work, but work can be high pressure.
Yeah.
Some people don't.
I mean, Georgia and I are very aligned with the vision, because as I said, we talked about it for 13 years. So there's something that we just can't do that. It's not viable. I know that you want to start offering free charity dinners and stuff. We can't afford, little things like that are our biggest disputes. Like it's, she's a lot better at communicating with people than I am, because I sort of get to work and my phone's there and I'll see messages and I'll go, I'll respond in a second, and another message will come from someone else. And by the end of the day, I'm like, fuck, this is too overwhelming.
Too many messages.
I'll deal with them later.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you forget to get back to them, which you'd understand. So
happens to me all the time.
What do you not like about working in hospitality? And
I think the social is the only thing I don't like about it, the social aspect of it. So if you count when I started at Myer, I've been in kitchens for 25 years. It was a social event for the first 5 years, where it was like, these are the guys I party with, they work with them, this is fun, this is so fun. And then suddenly you're like, oh, all my really good friends have gone off to be whatever, academic whatever, and suddenly like, oh no, I can't come. Or I've got lots of friends that are musos, and it's like, I can't come to any gigs, I can't, and so the social thing, I think that's it. Like
you're socially limited.
Yeah.
You work on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nights, and
yeah.
It's you get, we've got Sundays now that everyone else is social, but we also want to have our time as a family. Yeah. So answer your question, that's it. Otherwise,
that's the only thing
I love it. Like, I like stress. I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
I love creating. I'm not one of those chefs that has a little test kitchen where I try everything for weeks before. It's like, okay, I've got this idea. Okay, I'm going to have to put that on the menu on Wednesday. Fuck, I don't have the idea. What am I going to do? It's not working in my head. And then there's a dish, and it's, there's a running joke in the kitchen. You say every time, fuck, I don't know if this is going to be good enough. And then it goes on the menu, and I always talk to all the customers at the end of the night, and they always tell me what their favorite is, and it's funny how often the new one's their favorite. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Wow.
Works
but
out for
I
you.
don't sit there and try dishes multiple times. There's no what's that?
Intuition.
What's that show that's just been on TV? The Chicago restaurant. The Bear.
The Bear.
Yeah, and that, he tries a bite and he throws it away. He tries a bite and throws it away. None of that. It's like, here's a dish, and we'll eat it. And I'll go, okay, I've got to make one tweak. We're ready to go. So it's I can taste everything, texture, everything in here. And if it's missing something in here, I kind of can think, okay, we've got a flavor down there that I've made, like whether it be a bunion up miso or a some sort of preserve that will fill that hole of that dish, but it all happens in here.
And are you still learning? Like, do you still
non-stop
read books?
non-stop I probably don't read books as much.
Yeah.
More just trying.
You try.
So, like, when I say, like, I'll experiment with preserving or getting flavors out of things a fair bit. I have disasters in that, but that's the building the pantry to have all these different things you can just grab is like, it keeps it I find it so easy to pull it together once you've got all and you'll discover a new flavor that you get out of something that's just like, I'm going to use that next season when that comes available, because I reckon they'll go really well together. So
you're thinking all the time.
Yeah. Like,
non-stop.
customers say, "Oh, how do you think of all this?
Yeah.
Like, we haven't had a bag course tonight." And literally you do not want to see inside my head. It's constantly. It's a bit ridiculous, but I love it. So yeah.
As someone that, you know, you started off fine art, snowboarding, chefing, had a few different avenues that you've gone down. Do you ever think about, you know, the life that you could have lived, or this is just so, it like ticks all those boxes that it's just, this is it, you're so,
I think
so satisfied?
I wonder if I could have done other things and been just as successful. Like, as long as it involves, it sounds stupid, working with your hands, or, you know, something that you can sort of learn from. I don't know how to explain. Like, ice machine broken at work. I could pay someone to fix it, or I'll pull it apart and I'll work out how it works, and then slowly work out how to fix it. Yeah, like I do things like that. So I sort of, like, I'll change little things, like I'll fix ovens and stuff because I've watched enough people do it, or I start to understand the puzzle of how things work, and that, like, I find that thoroughly enjoyable. Like George said, "You've gone for 3 hours at that ice machine." I said, "Yeah, but I know how it works from start to finish now," and I really enjoy that. That's not me working. That's sort of,
could have been an engineer.
Could have been anything. I don't know. Maybe.
Do you have any hobbies that you do outside of work?
Now it's just basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a coach of soccer, but I know nothing about it. But
My God, watch this start though. This is gonna start a whole thing with this guy where he's not gonna be able to sleep for like a week and just learn the ins and outs of soccer, and he's gonna turn out like a premier.
No, not at all. No, it's just to spend time with my good daughter. Like, there's 16 under 8 girls that I coach.
It's a lot.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. Don't say that out loud. I really love it. No.
Do you go and dine out? Like,
I did a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
Not as much now because, one, the kids.
Yeah.
I'm open at Navi same days as everyone else. And I don't know, just time. Like, we should do this. Like, I think I've eaten most of the places I wanted to up until like 5 years ago, and then all of a sudden it's like there's all these places that I want to try. It's just time. Time gets the better of me. Like, you don't want to, if you don't see your girls, you don't want to just put them in babysitting on your night off and go off and do stuff. So you want to do stuff as a family. I will not take my girls to a restaurant yet, which is, I find really sad, because we have so many kids come to Navi that will sit there and eat the whole lot, and my girls pesto pasta. Yeah,
they're not good with different food.
No, I mean, they're getting better, but it was, you know, my youngest, she used to come to the peninsula with me every week, and you know, she's dug up truffles. She knows the different wild foods on the beach that you can eat, and in the weeds and stuff, and she knows all the growers, and she used to try things then, but now it's like she won't have a bar of it.
That's it.
Yeah,
it's unexpected.
Yeah.
Why such a high achiever? Doesn't really sound, this kind of life path doesn't really sound like the life of a hippie's child.
I don't know.
Good question. I like that.
I just, mate, I'm ultra competitive, maybe. Without sounding stupid, I'm always looking for acceptance.
You're an approval junkie.
And probably, yeah.
Approval junkie.
I don't know if that's a thing, but yeah. Wanting to have a story, I guess. I couldn't be complacent with just enjoying life.
Mediocrity.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you want to leave a legacy, and you want people to like what you do as well.
Yeah,
I feel like.
And I think sometimes I wish that I could, because I work with chefs that literally knock off, go home and don't think about work until they come back to work, and I wonder what that would be like.
That's like Tyrone. Taryn's good at that.
Oh yeah.
but I can't. I've got to work out how to do it.
But isn't that you enjoying life?
Yeah. But you know what I mean. Like
I get what you're saying.
Sometimes
doing it slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you feel like you're under the pump a lot. We feel the same way.
Yeah.
Having
life is like, okay,
got this guy over
I've got to
here.
do this
Behind the camera, Nathan.
Yeah.
And he just finishes working, he goes home, and that's it. And then he rocks up the next day. Don't have to worry about it.
You're locked in.
But we're always thinking about it.
Yeah.
And
sometimes it's nice. I would imagine it would be nice to not think, okay, I've got 3 days where I'm not in the kitchen. I need to get this, and this done because I won't get it done while I'm in the kitchen. So then all of a sudden your weekend's done.
Yeah.
And then the next week comes around because 4 days working week is very short, but also very quick. Like you even though I work 15-hour days, it's like that.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Well, 15-hour days almost is much faster than a.
Yeah, and
15-hour days of working.
Yeah.
Work makes the day go by so much faster.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I think kitchens. I don't know what it's like in any other. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I just see life quicker or.
I feel like in Melbourne, I don't know. I mean, in Australia, it's really hard to slow down. Like life is actually pretty fast. Like everyone is grinding and working. At least the majority of people. Like, you know, you always thriving to be better, to achieve more. I think there is that competitive mindset in where we are. I mean, you look at the hospitality industry, you know, like there are so many good chefs and restaurants and
I mean,
awards and, you know, hats and, you know what I mean? Like there's always constant competition going on. And if you just relax, you really are setting yourself to be average, you know, if you don't work constantly, even in our business, you know what I mean? Like we're always thinking, how can we be better than everyone else?
Yeah.
You know, because it's so competitive and we live like that every day. And when it's actually time for you to relax, it's very hard to relax. Like I just came from a holiday and it was like a 4-week holiday, and it literally the first 10 days I just couldn't relax. Like honestly, like after 10 days I started to think, fuck, and now I'm like feeling it a little bit.
Now you're chill.
Yeah, but it's so hard to just slow down.
Yeah, I find that when I slow down, I start thinking about food a lot more. I know that sounds a bit bizarre because I said I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
But I when I get relaxed, like on a holiday, which isn't that many, you know, I don't take that many holidays, but I find by the end it's like a little bit more clarity of thinking.
Creative.
Yeah.
You tune more into creativity.
Yeah. Right.
I agree.
Because
I feel like, you know, with the day-to-day operations of a business and the things that you're doing, there's a lot of noise that distracts you from where your time is maybe the best spent, even though everything is important. Maybe your time is the best spent on the menu and figuring out how to serve the best food. That's your expertise. Yeah. That's what you could do that no one else could do. The accounting and the management and everything like that, other people can do that. But that's you. And I feel like you tap more into that inner part of yourself when that stuff kind of gets washed
disappears
away.
for a sec. Yeah.
And you gain clarity. Because I feel like with these kinds of decisions, you actually always know the right answer, but the other things kind of make you doubt it here and there.
Yeah.
But then when that gets all stripped away, you're like, oh, this is what I need to do. This is what I always said I was going to do. It's just got to be like this, easy peasy. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
No, totally. And like what you were saying though, but with you can't stand still. You can't stand still with how the front feels, how the front of house feels, how it looks. You've got to keep changing, because if you stop and just go, I've got a good product, I'm just going to keep producing this product, it's going to go out of favor because Melbourne moves so quick. And, you know, and I mean, we're 7 years now, and like, I don't know, I feel more established now. I found it harder because I'm older than everyone else. Like a lot of people, a lot of my peers, who have been sort of doing their own thing at the same time are all in their early 30s, which was my plan originally. But so I've sort of like, I'm an older chef. Like when I won Chef of the Year, I was 44, and I don't think there's that many older chefs that have got doing their own little thing that have got that at that age. So it's sort of, it's come out of nowhere and at this age. And a lot of people ask me that when I opened Navi. It's like, where have you come from? Like what? I was like, well, I've been there, but I don't market myself very well. I don't shout from the roof, say, look at me. Yeah. But I would say, can you look at me? Yeah. Can you look at me? And then get pissed off because people don't.
Such a discussion this point, because at this age I see on social media a lot of like, say, literally 18-20-year-old chef now that started to film their like journey of getting, starting to cut veggies in the kitchen and sharing it on social media and getting that big interaction, and thousands of followers just cutting veggies and showing like the hectic lifestyle of a chef, and getting I don't know, 500,000 followers or 250,000 followers, and they literally can start a restaurant and have a massive following already. We're at that age now, but like the old school, you have to like grind all these years and get all these recognitions, and do you know what I mean? Like it's so interesting, and you see it all the time.
But also like, those places don't last. Yeah. So there are big sensational things that are social media heavy, but if you don't have the product, true. Melbourne doesn't stick around.
No, it doesn't.
True.
No.
And that's what I say to all the people when we're onboarding them, when we're having new lead meetings. I say to the people that they're already successful, they've done, because we obviously do marketing. That's like that's what we do is at Heart Media. They've got a pretty decent business going already, and that's purely from word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because their food is good and whatever they're offering is good service, venue, whatever, then we can really help them, because we can get new people through the door. But if you want people to keep on coming back, you need that base thing, and because people just won't.
No, and I mean
it's not good.
Especially in the higher end of dining, you don't get that many chances to, people are more likely to say it was shit than good.
But I do think it's really like making the world a little bit of a better place. It's giving more opportunities for people. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, you could build a following. Your product is shit. It won't work.
Yeah.
But you actually can build a following, and you can actually have a good product, and it just fasten your progress like 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Honestly, just because of the power of social media. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I do. Yeah. I do. And I mean, I'm not social media savvy. I grew up in that era where, we had a room with one computer on the internet at school. Like, so I remember getting my first email address because my brother was overseas when I started uni. So I know I'm not unsavvy to how to use technology, but the idea of being on my phone, photographing and sharing my story with everyone, I just don't. I get told to do it all the time, and I just don't. Like
I'm the same.
1 or 2 posts a year. That's it.
Yeah.
I get followers every day.
How do you deal with like like you're in that space, you're in the media, like there are so many articles, good and bad. Like how do you deal with it, like on a personal level?
I think, well, I mean, bad articles are. I've been lucky enough not to receive them. apart from the original losing the hat. I charged a table for not coming into the restaurant, and that had a huge backlash at Navi. And that, we were like, talk about media Google reviews, we were 5 out of 5 still before that, and then we started getting this hate 1-star reviews from all these people in Peru and stuff. It was really weird.
God.
I made the New York Post. It was fine diner charges table $1,800 for not coming to dinner.
What the hell?
And the next one was Trump's been indicted. The next story. So, like, that was pretty big, and that was like I had a big 48 hours of hate on Instagram. Both.
What was the story like?
I just charged someone a no-show fee.
Cancellation policy, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she went straight to Channel 7, said she was in hospital. She said, they turn the place 2 or 3 times in a night. If you do the maths, they make like 40 grand a night. They would have filled our table. And it was like, well, we didn't fill your table, and no, we don't turn any. And you've been here before. I know you've been to Navi before. And you've also cancelled a table of 6 5 times on us.
5 times?
Yeah. And then the last one was like, fuck you.
Good God.
Yeah. So we charged them.
Wait, a table of 6. It wasn't $1,800 you charged.
No, I can't remember what we charge. We've got a full price of the menu cancellation policy if we don't fill it.
Yeah.
So we don't. But with the table of 6, I think we charged it because she'd cancelled so many times. She
cancelled 5 times before that.
Yeah, over like a couple of years. But she was like, she knew exactly what the restaurant was, and she knew how small it was. She knew that we only have 1 table of 6, and on the day no one's going to turn up and say, oh yeah, we'll take the table of 6. But yeah, anyway, like I've never
must have been stressful.
It was really stressful. And community came out, and it was fun to watch. Not fun. I felt supported by, people in the community battling these, ghost
keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors that decided they had a lot of shit to say about what an asshole I was. And
it's funny how many people come out of the woodwork to say that you suck, but not how many people come out of the woodwork to say that you're good. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone will rally behind. Someone publishes a good story saying Julian Hills is the best, his restaurant is the best. You don't get random people coming out and just being like, good. You do. People being like, good for him. Yeah. But as soon as something bad happens, like,
you get, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's go.
It was like,
it was so quick. Like, we charged, and then she posted something on Facebook or on Instagram, and I replied back saying, it's just our policy to charge if we fill the table, because we have so many people give bunk credit cards. It's like, or they cancel and then they block their credit card, so you can't charge. So we charge, and then if we fill the table, we'll give you money back. Like, I'm not here to rob anyone or make extra money for not giving a product.
And it's your policy, which was on when she booked, right?
Yeah. So she, I wrote reply to a thing, and then it just snowballed very quickly. And then it was on Channel 7 Instagram, and then it was like, what the fuck's going on here? It's like, I'm not the only restaurant that has a cancellation policy.
Yeah.
And it was really bizarre. And I was,
Did it do anything to your business or your reputation at the time?
It's slightly, what happened was lots of people started booking that table of 6 fake.
And cancelling it.
So we had a run
that's
of
such a fucking.
no.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So once we
It's like
realised,
so they're so uninvolved in people.
Yeah.
Will just want to fuck with you. Yeah.
yeah, so we sort of started sussing out international bookings because they weren't people in Australia. It was people from America and
It's so weird.
lots of people from Brazil.
Went
Well,
viral or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Oh my God.
but yeah, just like stupidly have had alerts on my Instagram.
Oh no.
And it was just like, what do I do? And then it's like, oh, someone stood up for me. Oh, now they're being an asshole to them. Like, you know,
What a journey,
yeah.
man.
But that's the only real negative thing I've been through, and that was literally a news cycle. So
Yeah.
it's
But you did say the community stood with
Yeah.
you here.
yeah,
Local PR and
yeah, and
that's nice. And
and you know, like I think Danny Valant, I went on her podcast to talk about, you know,
the situation.
well, what it is, a table of six in, like then it was 25-seater, is, you know, it's a quarter of my revenue.
Mm.
And what people don't realise in a small restaurant, fine dining, where I'm not charging as much as I probably should be, because I'm not, it's sort of, I want it to be accessible to lots of people rather than just accessible to this top demographic that can, you know, people that can afford to come out.
Of course.
So my prices are very tight anyway. So, you know, you lose a front table which is probably worth $2,000 on a Saturday night, and that might be the only profit of the week.
Yeah.
And they've, you know,
Break even.
yeah, they don't realize that taking that away is me not getting paid that week
Yeah.
for my 50 hours.
It sucks.
You know, with just 3 more days notice, I could have filled it. Yeah.
Look, I do
Yeah.
get, like, you know, from a consumer perspective, it's pretty hard to accept, you know,
Yeah.
like I get that, but also like from the owner's perspective, it's fucking tough, you know, like it's a hard conversation to have. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
But I mean, it's anything else in the arts, and not but like performances and things where you bought a ticket.
yeah,
You can't
you
just
can't just cancel.
you can't just cancel it.
That's
You've got
so
to you've
true.
got to find someone to fill your table.
Yes.
Sell the
And
ticket to
That's
someone
actually
else.
so true. That,
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? Actually, that's such a good point.
you know,
Yeah.
like someone's dad just got really sick. They can't come tonight. I'm not going to charge them, but that wouldn't work with Taylor Swift.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
no,
She's not going to go,
no.
oh, here you
Of
go.
course, yeah.
Come tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And when it's something they don't think about it that way because,
Yeah.
I mean, one, it's easy for them to go against just someone that they assume is bigger and
Yeah.
outside of them. Everyone likes an in-group and an out-group. But I think that because, you know, for a set menu, you're preparing the dishes
Yeah.
and everything for them. So it's
Yeah,
done.
it's
You've
done.
bought the produce.
yeah,
You're banking on a full house, so
Yeah.
a 25-seater restaurant. So you're losing money.
yeah,
And that's the same thing that the other arts kind of programs will be thinking, festivals,
Yeah.
events, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, you know, we're in the same, you know, like people cancel on us all the time, you know what I mean? Like if we want to count the amount of loss we just lost on people canceling last minute, or do you know what I mean? It's terrible. It hurts when you're a small business, you know what I mean? Like if you're the local bar, hotel, the big, you know, 200 seaters, it won't make much difference for you, but 35, 25 seaters, it's
yeah. Well, no one's
Tough.
walking in either.
Yeah.
Like it's not like we're
True, it's not a walk-in
maybe
restaurant.
someone will walk in and fill
Yeah.
that table, but
Yeah,
no, it's, and you're right. Everything's prepared. Everything's,
yeah.
by the time Friday rolls around, there's no cancelling the
I-
fishermen from going out.
do you still deal with the situation in the same way now, or
we now take a deposit,
okay?
and then what that does is says you're serious, you know, and it's not that we want to take the money. It's just if you've got $400 on the line and you don't,
You're gonna come.
You're going to come,
and you're going
or
to
you
make sure
can
that you cancel in time as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, credit card's not enough if you can just block it.
Yeah.
Mm.
I guess that's relevant to every kind of business as well, though.
Yeah.
If you're doing something serious and it's costly to you, then you need to get some type of a down payment so they can feel secure.
Yeah.
And it's not because, like you said, you want to take the money, but you want to attract people that are serious about it because they're going to appreciate the food more.
Yeah.
Right? Because someone that is more wishy-washy or doesn't really love it is not going to be willing to front the money.
Yeah.
And B, you want to feel
exactly
secure.
And people that are serious about coming, they know that $400 is going towards their meal. It's not.
Yeah.
They're not losing it.
Yeah.
And they're not going to lose it unless they just don't show up.
Yeah.
Or cancel on a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can still cancel, you know, but with the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
especially when it's the only large table we have on offer. So.
Beautiful.
Fuck, you must have been so relieved after that wave of.
Yeah, I mean, we felt it. It was funny because it happened just before a release of bookings. So Navi, I don't know, when we first opened, it was like, do you want to put a cap on where your bookings go to? And I'm like, no. If people want to book, let them book. So, and then, so we opened in July. By the time we were at the end of August, we were booked out till April the next year. And I was like, fuck, we got to stop. So we stopped taking bookings. And then we didn't take bookings again until February the following year. And we started doing a release day. And those release days were pretty intense. So we were always booked out 3 months in advance. It was always happened in like 1 to 5 minutes. The whole place was booked out. And then after that was the Wednesday that release date. So everyone that was still fresh on their mind to kill this bastard that decided to steal some girl's money that she was sick.
Still can't believe you did that.
I know, right? I wouldn't have done it had she not cancelled before. Like if she
I'm joking.
it was the first time and she said she was sick, I'd go, yeah, cool. But
5 times.
Just to get on and cancel it yourself and not ring up and then leave it to us to find out, oh shit, we've lost a 6. Okay. Charge it, then we'll find out what's going on. That Wednesday release still went the same way, but the front table was always the last to book, and it got booked up by all these folks. We didn't feel that till 3 months down the line. It's like when we started realizing that a lot of these bookings, it was just for 1 month because it was fresh on their minds,
and then everyone forgot about it.
Yeah.
Cool. What? So what's next for you with Navi?
Well,
you're going to grow up more? Because I heard originally you said small restaurant.
Yeah.
Now it's a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Not bigger than this?
Navi won't be any bigger. I want to do other things.
Other restaurants?
Yeah. I've got ideas, but now that my wife's on, we're working together towards that rather than me going, yeah, I've got this idea. I've got to cook for 80 hours this week and then I'll think of it again and then I'll, so it's a bit more, we've got ideas of looking at sites and stuff.
Can you let us in on the idea or is it still?
No, I'll keep it under the wraps. Yeah. But there's a few things I'd like to do, but we want to grow. Like I love the style of food I do, like the degustation, but there's a whole nother avenue out there that I like. I did a pop-up during COVID in West Footscray where it was all beer related and lots of fermenting and all cooked over charcoal.
Like an a la carte menu?
It was a la carte, yeah. Just a big beer garden.
Carte?
Yeah, loved the freedom of, okay, we've got this fish today we're going to do and, you just do something for that day.
Yeah.
And
the casual
yeah,
nature of it.
Yeah, still same philosophy on flavor and texture and everything, but just a bit more of and shared stuff still, which probably wasn't so smart in COVID, but yeah, and that went really well, but we didn't follow through with the lease or anything, so it's just
beautiful.
Something along those lines, but small again. I don't want to do anything big.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure whatever you do will be good.
I'm not after hundreds of diners a night.
Yeah,
Doesn't interest me.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Do you like burgers?
I do like burgers.
Do you have a favorite burger spot? I've been trying to talk to chefs to see what's their favorite burger spot because I love burgers and I'm just.
So he can go himself.
I can
Yeah.
go
It's a
myself.
greedy question.
Yeah.
No, probably not. I probably don't have a favorite. I will go and try a burger, and I think I always lean towards like a crispy fried chicken burger now rather than a
Okay.
hamburger. We make Jeff burgers at home, which is Julian, Eleanor, and Frida burgers when Mum's not home.
That's so cute.
So we all the girls take orders and we have a burger shop. You know,
I
we
love
go and
that.
buy chips to dish out to.
And the hospitality business mindset runs deep, even in the family. The girls are running a little something there as well.
Yeah, so we do that.
That's going to be opening up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, just with the three of us. It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, my daughter loves burgers.
Mm.
She's very, very picky on if that's a good burger or not a good burger. But I can't. No, see this whole choosing where your favorite restaurant, your favorite thing. I'm not very good at it because I like to not keep repeating where I go because I'm trying to.
Where's a
eat
good one
different-
that you've had recently?
Good burger.
Yeah.
Actually had a really good Korean. It was called KFC Sando, a place in Yarraville today. It's like Korean fried chicken with kimchi and hot sauce in it.
Sounds yum.
And white
Yeah.
bread or a burger?
It was in white bread, not
A
a
white
burger.
bread.
Yeah,
I
it was
love
pretty.
white bread.
It was pretty yum.
Sand.
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's funny in hospitality the amount of chefs and stuff that will say like KFC. They'll eat KFC. It's I've found that a lot with industry is that the fast food junkies of chefs. It's like fuck, you spend all day doing this and then you go and eat fried chicken.
Because they don't want to
Yeah.
cook and they don't
Yeah.
want to think about it,
Yeah.
I think, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fried chicken is yum.
Fried chicken
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, and the philosophy of eating out and judging, like you can't help but do it. So if I eat at a fine diner, whether it be one hat or not had it or three hats, I'm picking the shit out of everything. We're not meaning to, and it's not that relaxing unless it's really inspiring, and then I'm like that was great. So I'd rather get far. Or,
No expectations.
No
Yeah,
expectation.
you know.
No expectations.
and it's I don't want to go where someone's told me that's the best burger because I'll walk in
That's
there
better though.
expecting.
Even as a consumer, I guess like doing this business, I know a little bit about food. But when I'm paying more money for food, I'm always there like, this is all right.
Yeah.
Service is all right. It's a bit cold in this room.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
true.
blah, blah.
So
Like
true.
just
Yeah.
picking apart like every
Yeah.
part of it, being like, is it worth it? No. But if I just go to someone that's like cheap and cheerful, like it's good, but it's just cheap. Like I don't mind. I'll go there in like my tracksuit, whatever.
Butcher's
and it's-
diner.
Butcher's Diner, yeah. Just keep it like really low key and
Yeah.
just like you're just happy all the time when you
I
go
agree,
there.
actually,
Doesn't matter if the table's dirty or anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Who
you just get there and
cares?
it's okay.
It's $20.
Yeah. I mean, it's the
Truly.
same with eating at friends' houses. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so nervous to cook for you." I'm like, "Man, you're feeding me. I'm not coming in here. I'm not
Yeah.
judging you like you're a restaurant, or I'm not going to say your chicken's dry or whatever." But it's yeah,
See, it's interesting now. Ben Shuri's response made sense for me. We asked him, where do you like to go? What's your favorite spots? And literally all the spots he mentioned were like, Andrew Hamburgers and this
Yeah.
other spot. You know what I mean? Like they're not any fine
Very
dining.
small.
You know, they're so relaxed and probably no one know about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes sense now.
yeah. I mean,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we
Fantasy
like,
question?
yeah.
Let's get into
You
it.
go.
All right. I've got a fantasy question.
okay.
And the question is, if time and place wasn't an issue, you could this could be with someone that's dead or alive. Who would you want to collab with? It can be anything. It can be anything. It can be someone in musical arts. We've had answers like Kanye West and Nike and things like that. So it can be anything.
Probably Jean-Paul Basquiat, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're
chef
leaning
answer.
towards art.
Chef, it has to be a chef.
No.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be a chef.
Right.
Oh.
No, I thought that was a chef.
No,
No, that's
no,
an
that's
art.
He's
artist.
an artist. There,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the freedom of his art.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You still do a lot of pottery?
I like this answer very much. Interesting.
You still do a lot of pottery?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a little setup at home, so I'm more topping up crockery now than producer. I had this idea that every time I put on a dish, I'd make a new set of crockery, but
Oh my god,
no.
you're ambitious.
I forget how many plates get chipped at the restaurant.
And you're just fixing them.
No, I'm just I have to make new ones.
Yeah.
So I've had. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, we still got just like last few rapid fire questions.
Okay,
So that's
yeah.
just quick,
Yeah.
fun. Jules, coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Rare or well done?
rare.
Wine or beer?
That's not a fair question.
You have to choose.
Well, I guess I have to go beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Starter or dessert?
Dessert,
Pasta or rice?
pasta,
Fish or meat? Hard
meat,
one.
meat,
Meat. Cheese or chocolate?
chocolate.
Bread or potatoes?
Sorry, bread or potatoes? Probably bread.
Solo cooking or team cooking?
Solo.
Whiskey or gin?
Sorry,
Whiskey or gin?
whiskey,
Music or silence in the kitchen?
music.
What kind of music?
It doesn't matter what kind of music. There has to be background music.
Okay.
It's sort of like a movie. Like, what's your favorite genre of movie? It's whatever's best in the genre I like. So I kind of, yeah.
You like many forms of music.
Yeah,
as long as
it's
yeah.
Meat pie or sausage roll?
sausage roll.
What's your favorite ingredient to cook with? You think like you can't cook without one.
Oh, Jesus.
He doesn't like these questions. I can
This
tell.
is our last
He's not a one thing.
I'm not a
guy.
one.
He's not.
That's impossible to answer, isn't it? One ingredient.
That you think you can't cook without. It's not your favorite, but you think you can't cook without.
Sound really weird, but almonds.
Almonds. Oh my god.
No one expected that.
That is the most unexpected.
No one
answer.
expected it.
Almonds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, why
Okay.
almonds? I want to know this.
I don't know.
Have you ever had an almond steak?
No, but you might have had a crust on it that was made with almonds.
Okay.
You know,
Very
a
interesting.
lot of almonds in desserts.
Now he's thinking.
Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah. They add a good texture.
They're delicious.
There's
they
a
go with
cream.
other things.
You can cream them. They've got a nice umami to them. You know.
You can turn them into a meal. Can
Yeah.
make some
They go
coffee.
really well with like braised meat and stuff, or they go really well with fish if you had citrus and capers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I love
Cool.
this answer.
Well, hopefully we'll see you soon in Navi and
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
we're definitely coming down for a feed.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to
I-
book it for my girlfriend's birthday, which happened a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
But you weren't open on a Monday, and the Monday was like the only day that she could do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we get more people from the US and Singapore and stuff than we do from this side of town.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
How come?
Wow.
Oh, because I don't know. I think it's a little bit harder to get there from here
Yeah.
than
From here.
than the US.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm confused.
He's being silly.
I'm being silly,
The
yeah.
US is so far.
I thought. Okay. All right. Thanks, Jules.
No
Appreciate
worries.
you. Thanks for coming. That was such a nice conversation.
Yeah, the time.